Hey there, Virgo. Let's do a Mercury retrograde tarot card reading. Now, I've already done your March monthly readings on TikTok, and I've done love readings for you. I've got the financial readings up, so I figured let's look into what energy you're going to be dealing with in the Mercury retrograde. The unique thing is that I'm going to let this be completely random. I'm just shuffling it out right here, right now. So this is not going to be for everybody. This could be about money, travel, career, love. I'm not sure until I get all the cards out. But because it's a random reading, it's not going to be for everybody. So whoever it's for, since I don't know who this is for, I hope it makes it to you. And we'll get into it now. Let's see what we have. All right, let me look at this here. Oh, we've got 2 4s showing up. Interesting. We've got the Strength in the reversal. We've got beautiful abundance. The Knight of Wands is here. The 2 of Wands in the reversal. I'm just naming off the cards here for a second as I analyze them. And then I'm going to get into the meaning of each of these cards. I'm going to give you a nice close-up view of the beautiful Flow Tarot deck, by the way. That's what we're using today in this reading. And I think to start off, I'm going to start off with these 2 4s here. This is kind of wild. You're not even going to believe this, Virgos. In history, over 100 years ago, as I like to say, Arthur Edward Waite gave combinations of clarification cards. There are many tarot readers in a modern sense who will tell you not to use clarification cards. And if you choose not to use clarification cards, then you do not have to. But the creator of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, Arthur Edward Waite, gave entire sections of his books on clarifying. And he was one of those people who said, if you don't understand a reading, flip the cards again. That there is no purpose, aside from denying the process, or giving up, really, to not use them. And in his descriptions of clarification cards in a numbering sense, he mentions that the 4s, if you have 2 4s together, both of them in the upright position, it means insomnia. It literally means somebody who is not able to get to sleep. They are staying up at night. They are having difficulties processing something, or they're having anxiety that's keeping them up at night. And honestly, the 4 of Snow in the Flow Tarot deck, this is the 4 of Swords. And if you've ever looked at the traditional tarot of the 4 of Swords, it is a person who's asleep in a coffin. The ultimate idea of rest, right? Both of these cards are in the upright position, so it denotes, even with the 4 of Waves, it denotes a period of healing, but it gives the insinuation that you may not know that your sleep pattern, your sleeping schedule is actually causing more problems in your life than you might realize. And that addressing whatever it is that's keeping you up at night is going to be paramount for your health, paramount for your abundance. Not only is this depiction here of accepting stillness, the 4 of Swords, giving that depiction of somebody who needs to transition into a good place of sleep, but the 4 of Wands is the card of sanctuary. It is connected to abundance, the great harvest, where? On the home front, in your home life, in your sanctuary. And what is a sanctuary if not the safe place that you lay your head on that bed at night? Okay. I love the 4 of Wands, though, because the 4 of Wands, it refers to a time of celebration and success and uniting with the right people. It's got a fascinating story that leads up to it. And when I say that, I mean that there are cards before the 4 of Wands, like the 2 of Wands, the 3 of Wands, that tell a story. And that story in tarot relates with the 4 of Wands, where it begins off with the Ace of Wands, this beautiful new desire, like the hand of God has given you the desire to do something, to go on this adventure, to create something or manifest something. And in the 2 of Wands, the person in the image decides, do I want to stay where I am now, or do I want to go off and conquer? By the time we get to the 3 of Wands, it's the card of bureaucracy and mercantile energy, transactions, and this person looks out to this an ocean or a lake or a river, and he sees these boats in front of him. They are his boats with his gold on it. He hasn't got the gold yet. They're all the way in the distance in that image of the 3 of Wands. And then as we get into the 4 of Wands, the idea is that he has the gold. That's the key to it. That's why the Five of Wands, which comes after the Four, is the card of people trying to like hit each other with sticks because they're going after the gold. That's why the Four of Wands is so valuable. It's abundance, it's harvest, it's something that helps you grow. And when we do a tarot reading from a historical perspective, it's useful to understand the cards separately. Like, again, this Four of Swords is about healing and rest. This Four of Wands is about abundance and harvest. And then it's important to interpret them together if you happen to have numbering systems that are showing up repetitively in a reading and clarify each other. For some of you, the reason you cannot sleep is because of money matters. For others of you, with the Knight of Wands here, the Knight of Wands is historically a person who is connected to travel, immigration, emigration, going and changing locations. So it could be that there are difficulties trying to sleep or something keeping you up a little bit at night because of a journey that you're trying to go on. That could involve money matters. It could be like, how do I make enough money to move to my new house, right? Think immigration. And if it's not just immigrating to a new country, immigration could be used like in a synonym sense to changing to a new house, a new location, a new city, moving in with somebody, right? Or having somebody move in with you. But all of those circumstances that I just mentioned, those take money. Those take organization, those take career changes, job understandings, transactions, harvest, career, abundance, harvest, the gold, or your goal, you could say. Now, the Two of Wands is also here, and it's notorious for being the card of the crossroads. But what did I mention about how it comes up before the Four of Wands? You have it in this reading. It's somebody who decides, do I stay where I'm going or do I go off to conquer? It is a choice to make that pivotal moment, that choice to get up and go, which is why in the Flow Tarot deck it is called the Surging Power. In historical tarot, it was a depiction, according to Arthur Edward Waite, he said it was a likeness of Alexander the Great, who was making a decision in history. Again, history lesson here. If you put your mind inside of the mind of Alexander the Great, just pretend you're him for one day. What do you think he had to say to himself? Well, in the picture of the Two of Wands, he's standing on top of a battle fortress and he's holding the whole world in his hand. If you've ever seen the Two of Wands, the man in the picture is holding the earth in his hands, this little ball in his hand he's got, right? And if you were Alexander the Great, imagining you had the whole world at your feet, you could either stay with what you have or you could go on conquering and to conquer, right? Keep going, keep going. If you stay with what you have, then you deal with the limitations of the only things that you've built up around you. But if you choose to go forward, you open up new opportunities in life. The thing is that your Two of Wands card is in the reversal position initially at the beginning of this reading. And when it's in the reversal, historically that is connected to staying in a state of sorrow for far too long. Which makes sense to me because the Four of Swords, remember, this is an energy that was connected to rest, sleep. It's a depiction originally of a tombstone or a person resting in a cemetery, the ultimate format of rest. But the Four of Snow, or the Four of Swords, comes after the heartbreak of the Three of Swords, which is why there's a need for rest. But it also helps you to understand why there was this period of sorrow that occurred. Now, in all of this, we're asking ourselves, what is it that you're going to be dealing with in the Mercury retrograde? I feel like in this Mercury retrograde, you're going to have to take your positions of frustration, sorrows, losses, or money matters, and you're going to have to organize them in a certain way to gain that sense of abundance. It feels very organizational. Actually, looking at this particular card here, which is a great card, I love it, called the Floating One, being in between worlds. It's about liminal states of transition. So for some people, this Mercury retrograde is like, ta-da, a moment, an ex calls, the big money comes in. It's like an event. But for other people, in this case, in your reading, the Mercury retrograde feels like just something you have to get through because it's a transition phase that's connecting you to organizing your lifestyle, the things that you're building, or for many of you, travel and a journey that you're trying to set up here. It's not much of a specific event that's going to be happening in your Mercury retrograde. And especially with this card, the Strength and the Reversal, in the Flow Tarot deck, this is the card of the quiet power of time. The reason I say that is because, as you can see on this image, it is a picture of water that has slowly over time carved its way through the stone. If you've ever seen or watched a National Geographic history documentary about how the slow process of water can work against a rock, eventually over time the rock will be eroded by the water. That's why that card of Strength in this tarot deck is connected to the concept of time. So in this reading, I'm getting this specific energy that in your Mercury retrograde, you're pretty much biding your time in a state of transition, organizing things for your abundance, organizing things for the potentials of a new horizon, a new location change of some sort, maybe you're looking for a new job, a new career. It doesn't look like it's necessarily going to pop off in this Mercury retrograde, but instead in this Mercury retrograde, it's a time for you to accept the stillness and the time that's passing so that you can get to that new dynamic after the retrograde period. For many of you, again, if you're, as an example, if you're looking to travel, it doesn't look like you're necessarily getting to that point of traveling right through the Mercury retrograde. You might be setting yourself up to travel and making the purchases now in the Mercury retrograde, but then you travel after March 20th is over, after the end of the retrograde. Or if you guys are trying to find a new job with the abundance card, right? It doesn't look like it's going to be coming in the Mercury retrograde. You might get a phone call though from a certain job position or for an interview, and like all of these little pieces of time are being set up in the Mercury retrograde. So it's important to cross your T's and dot your I's, but the actual job might not start until after the Mercury retrograde is over. You might look for houses if you want to, like if that's what you're doing with this whole emigration, traveling to new location. Of course, I'm giving you guys different examples for each of you because I know that you're going through different things, right? If you're trying to purchase the house, you might not purchase a house or sell your house in this Mercury retrograde. It might be shortly after, because that's what this is about. Your Mercury retrograde is the in-between period. Well, what's on the other side of the in-between period? If you have two walls and the in-between period is in the middle, then you are about to get to that transitionary end. You're about to come out of the transition. The Mercury retrograde is your transitionary time. It's on the other side where you're going to find more of the actual event happening, where you get that job or move into that building or, secure that whatever, right? Move in with your person, as an example. Because again, this card is the card of immigrating into a location. It is travel. Historically, that's what it was. In a modern sense, the Knight of Wands has become an identification with commitment into love when it's in the upright position. It's somebody who could come into your life. So there is that possibility. But again, it doesn't look like it's happening in the Mercury retrograde because this is the transitionary phase. It looks like it's coming afterwards. So I'm going to leave you guys off with that. And I'm going to head over to TikTok where I'm going to upload more Mercury retrograde videos for you guys because I'm doing them on both platforms. So if you are interested in a little bit more information to see about what's happening for you guys, then feel free to join me over on TikTok. And if you want a private reading, feel free to give me a shout at the link in my bio. You can always contact me there. That's everything though, guys. Thank you for joining me on this. I'm going to leave you off with that. And ciao for now.